Let's talk about Mehrunes Dagon. If you've played Oblivion, you'll know him well. He's the Daedric prince of destruction, change, and ambition. But don't let the fiery motif fool you. Dagon's not just about smashing stuff. Well, okay, not entirely just about smashing stuff. There's a method to his madness. This is Mehrunes Dagon. Big, red, angry, and sporting 4 arms because apparently 2 weren't enough. His whole thing is tearing down the old to make way for the new. And while that sounds productive, it's usually less like time to clean out the attic and more like time to burn the house to the ground. This funny crimson fella is responsible for the Oblivion Crisis. That's when he decided to go full world-ending villain and send his army of Daedra to invade Tamriel. Spoiler alert, it didn't end well for him, but we'll get to that later. In this video, we're diving into who Mehrunes Dagon really is, where he came from, and whether he's really just a tantrum-throwing man-child, or if there's something deeper going on. Alright, so, where does Mehrunes Dagon actually come from? Like most Daedric princes, his backstory is complicated. And by complicated, I mean it's a mess of ancient myths, conflicting sources, and undercooked lore. But let's see if I can piece something together here. Let's start with the basics. Dagon is one of the Daedric princes, godlike beings created from the primordial chaos of the Orbis, through the interplay of Anu and Padme, though it seems the Daedra tend to favor their more chaotic grandpa's nature over their other ones. Dagon, however, might just be something altogether different, if some of the more obscure lore is to be believed. Let's start with his origin story from the commentaries on the Mysterium Xarxes. According to famously reliable narrator Mankar Cameron, Mehrunes Dagon was formed in a place called Lig, which is a whole topic for another video honestly, but basically Lig was sort of an alternate reality that either existed alongside Tamriel or long before it. Either way, Lig was ruled over by the Dread Kings, who by all accounts were not very well liked. They waged endless wars and were probably led by a crab person version of Molag Bal. I know this is weird, just stick with me. So, in order to cast down the Dread Kings and return Lig back to the nothingness of Oblivion, the Magna Gi imbued a spirit with their most precious resource, hope. And this is where it gets deep. What's hope's end goal? That's right, change. And so Dagon was born as a corrupted idea of hope from some spirits who didn't really even care about creation to begin with. Dagon rose from the depths of Lig in order to defeat the Dread Kings. His first step was to create a divine disease known only as Ligma. Sorry, couldn't resist. He actually just kicked their asses. He inspired a rebellion and sent forth his Red Legion to destroy the cities of Lig. And sure enough, he won the battle. Although he might have gone a little bit too far because he destroyed that reality altogether. Or so the story goes. Another much easier to grasp origin of Dagon is from the Nords, who believe he was a spirit that was cursed by Alduin to be a troublemaker. So, whatever the truth, at the end of the day, it's night. Dagon's origins are reflective of his nature, chaotic, destructive, and messy, like a toddler with hammers taped to his hands. But whether he's a cursed being, a child of change, or just the universe's biggest pyromaniac, one thing's for sure, he's red. Alright, now it's time to talk about Mehrunes Dagon's greatest hit, the Oblivion Crisis. If you played the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion, you already know this story. Tamriel gets invaded by angry Daedra, the sky looks crazy, and you, the hero of Kvatch, spend way too much time shutting down gates to hell. But what really went down? In the late Third Era, Dagon decided it was time for a career change, from Daedric Prince to ruler of Tamriel. To pull this off, he needed a way to bypass the magical barriers that keep Daedra out of Nirn. Enter the Mythic Dawn, a cult of Dagon's fanboys led by Mankar Cameron, who were just dying to help him, literally. The Mythic Dawn kicked things off by assassinating Emperor Uriel Septim VII and his heirs, which was a pretty solid move if your goal is to destabilize an empire. But oops, they forgot one. However, with no one ruling from the Ruby Throne, the pinky promise between Akatosh and the rulers of Tamriel was broken, and the protections granted against Daedric buffoonery by way of the dragon fires went out. Then, gates to the Deadlands started popping up, and the first big attack was on the city of Kvatch. But if you want to know all the gory details of that, just go play Oblivion. So, what was Dagon's plan? According to his followers, Dagon was trying to usher in a new age of Tamriel, one ruled over by the Mythic Dawn themselves. They believed that the Divines were not gods, merely pretenders, who betrayed Lorkhan. who, by the way, they believed was a Daedra, whose realm was Nirn. So, in their eyes, they were merely reclaiming Lorkhan's realm from the Divines by destroying it. Man, these cults don't really think this stuff through, do they? Here's the thing about Dagon. He's all about destruction, but his plans and philosophies tend to fall apart. Although I guess it's hard to have that kind of stuff when you're compelled to destroy literally everything, including your own plans and philosophies. Anyway, thanks to the hero Kavach and a lot of sprinting through Oblivion gates, the people of Tamriel managed to push back. And then there was Martin Septim, who pulled the ultimate power move by smashing the Amulet of Kings, turning into Akatosh's avatar, and banishing Dagon back to Oblivion. R.I.P. to Martin, but that was one hell of a way to go out. But what's really fascinating about the Oblivion Crisis is what it says about Dagon's goals. Sure, he's a big four-armed bad guy who loves destruction, but it's not always just random. This whole thing is breaking down the old so something new can rise in its place. And maybe he got what he wanted in the end. Despite his failure to take over Tamriel, Dagon caused the end of the Septim Empire, which seems like a win for a god that's all about revolution and change. That's Dagon for you, burning down the world, one failed plan at a time. Now let's talk about one of the most notorious artifacts in Tamriel, Mehrunes Razor. You've probably seen it in your adventures, this unassuming little dagger that looks like something you'd butter toast with. But don't be fooled, Mehrunes Razor is deadly. It's said to have the power to kill instantly, no matter who or what it's sliced at. But the razor isn't just a weapon, it's a philosophical statement. Like everything tied to Mehrunes Dagon, it's all about destruction, swift and absolute. The razor doesn't discriminate or hesitate. It's not here for drawn-out battles or moral debates. You get hit and boom, you're dead. If you're looking for subtlety in Dagon's philosophy, the razor is a bad place to start. Historically, Mehrunes Razor has shown up all over Tamriel, usually at the worst possible times. In the Skyrim questline, you can reassemble it for Dagon himself, which, surprise, comes with the option to betray the guy who helped you put it back together. Just your typical Dagon shenanigans. But here's the kicker. Mehrunes Razor isn't just a pointy Daedric dagger, it's also a test. Owning it means you're aligning yourself, even indirectly, with Dagon's ideals. Will you wield it responsibly, or will you give in to its promise of absolute power? Either way, just don't try to shape with it. So that's Mehrunes Dagon, Daedric Prince, Destroyer of Worlds, and the #1 hater of Tamriel. From his mysterious origins in the depths of Lig, to his fiery invasion during the Oblivion Crisis, Dagon is more than just a giant angry demon man. He's a personified force of the cycle of destruction and creation. A force that doesn't just destroy for the sake of it, but to pave the way for something new, which, of course, he's then compelled to destroy all over again. Even now, his influence lingers across Tamriel, from the cultists still whispering his name to his infamous weapon. Dagon's story reminds us that even in a world full of gods, heroes, and ancient mysteries, destruction is as much a part of the cycle as creation. He might be a big dumb villain, but hey, at least he keeps things interesting. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the hijinks of Mehrunes Dagon. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to press the buttons and leave a comment telling me your favorite one of his 4 arms. I'm Shade, and don't forget,